Hello everyone, my name is Sam and this is my YouTube channel. I'm going to be posting some technical guides and kind of run-throughs of all of the projects that I'm doing here, and I want to kind of introduce like what this is and what this is for. This is kind of like a professional space, so obviously I do expect some level of decorum in the chat and the comments, so please respect that. And I'm going to essentially be cataloging my work in software development and all of my projects that I'm doing. And you can see some kind of companion pieces and posts with that on robot.net, which is in my little corner down here. So you can go ahead and find, there's some blog posts up there right now. And as of today, I will be updating my email so that it's sam@robot.net, but that doesn't work yet. So if you want to email me, wait a few days and then email me sam@robot.net if you have any questions, comments, concerns. Hopefully not concerns, but And today, as I said, I kind of revealed it, we will be working on an email server, and so I'm going to be using kind of like the industry standard email server technologies for Linux. So we have here Dovecot and Postfix, and the reason I'm using these two specifically is because they both support the Maildir specification, which, if you don't already know, emails are basically just HTML files that are kind of transferred over the internet, and there's a bunch of like other fancy stuff that's added on top of it, but at their core, emails are just an HTML file, which is the same HTML file you see on the websites, slash whatever page.html. It's the same file, it's the same standard. And so Dovecot and Postfix both support Maildir, which is essentially what it sounds like, Maildir. It stores directories filled with these HTML files. So the reason that I want to do that is because I'm hoping that in the future I'll be able to write my own kind of scripts that maybe they use a large language model or a small language model in my case. Maybe they use some sort of other filtering, and essentially I just want to kind of have this expandable and pluggable system where it's really easy to access the emails from some kind of additional service. But right now I'm just going to focus on receiving emails with SMTP, the Secure Message Transfer Protocol, and accessing emails through any email client with IMAP, with the IMAP protocol. And so we're going to need Dovecot and Postfix to do that. So I have the documentation up here, and over here I have my kind of development environment where I'm going to be writing these containers and messing with them. And then of course I have my server over here that I'm SSH'd into right now. And yeah, I guess let's go ahead and get started. So I think probably the first thing I want to do is going against my diagram here. I wrote this little diagram on my notebook. I don't know if you can see it, but I have this little diagram, and basically I want to make a new user, which is like the mail user on this machine, and then I want to put podman compose in the mail directory inside of that kind of home folder. So on all of my servers, I like to keep kind of a little note going of just like what is on here. So let's see, do I actually have one right now? No, I don't. So what is here.txt? Okay. Catalog of projects on this server. And we'll just say mail service running in podman compose under user. So I think it's actually sudo machinectl shell mail user at. I'll come back and fix that if that's wrong. But the reason I'm actually using, so you might have heard of, if you're familiar with Linux administration, you might have heard of su, which is like do something as another user. Usually you do it to do something as the root user, but you can specify another user. The reason that I don't want to do that is because we will be setting up these containers using a systemd service. And if you're using systemd services under the user, you have to use this machinectl command, because otherwise it's not going to kind of set up the whole systemd daemon for that user. And I actually found this out doing a different project, working on kind of a similar concept of things running in Podman Compose under a separate user. Because I like to have multiple kind of layers of security, you know, so then it's like if somebody jumps the container, it's like, okay, it's not a big deal because they only have access to this like low-level unprivileged user. And, you know, I can come in with my high-level, highly privileged user and say, wipe that out and, you know, just reset everything. So I like to make sure that kind of every single layer has some kind of security so that even if you like breach one layer, you still have to breach another layer to actually kind of get to the final stage of completely compromising the device, which I think is very important because obviously everything's going to have a bug every once in a while. So if you kind of like Swiss cheese model it, you know, where you have to have all the holes line up, it's far less likely that all the holes actually do line up and you get a total compromise of your server. So if everything's kind of like sectioned away and cordoned off in a way that is secure and uses multiple different types of security like containerization or using just standard Linux users and permissions, you can basically create a really secure system that's also on the plus side, on an additional plus side, it's easier to manage because then I don't have to worry about kind of updating every single individual piece because every time this restarts, it's just going to pull the latest container and everything's going to be up to date and it's going to be secure and it's going to be using the latest version of whatever software I choose to use in here. And I think sometimes, you know, if you have things that update, it can cause some concerns with the fact that your configuration might break in newer versions and your files might not be supported by newer versions depending on like your save data or whatever, like attached volumes, whatever data is and configuration is in there might not be supported by newer versions. But that's not a huge deal with Docker because the only thing I have to do then is update the container build file on my GitHub, and then it will just automatically apply all of those changes and figure itself out. Because it's not like this server where, you know, I could have something misconfigured and if it updates automatically it becomes unbootable, because that's like a huge problem, right? Because then it's, you know, now it's not reliable and the server's down and I have to go in and figure out how do I SSH into this remotely because it's not working. And, you know, I have ways of doing that, but it's a far bigger headache than, oh, my Docker's not booting, my Docker container isn't booting up, let me just go change the file and then it'll fix itself, right? So I think this very modular approach is a good approach for kind of the maintainability and the security of these systems, and I'm hoping that will help me to kind of keep this mail server running, because this is obviously going to be my new kind of like primary email to receive mail from people. So I think it's very important that it, you know, has a certain level of uptime and it has a certain level of reliability. And so this is kind of one of the ways that I'm making sure that it does have that reliability, and also making sure that it's easy for me to maintain that reliability without having to like be on call 24/7. I can just, you know, check on it every once in a while and say, hey, my email's not working. Let's go on the Docker and like change some settings, and now it's done. So that's what I really want. That's my dream. We'll see if that is actually the reality, but we can only find out when we implement this whole project. So I have this catalog of what is here. So I'm just going to go ahead and save that. And then I believe, is it add user? Make user? User add? Okay, hold on. Let's see. Apropos user. Users, user mod, user add. It is user add. Oh, I bet it's not installed. I bet it's not installed. Okay. Let's see. What does this say? User add. Is that, did I, oh, maybe I did a typo? User add. Okay, well, here is our first conundrum. Okay, add user. But did I not? I tried that, right? Add user. Add user. Okay. Let's see. So add user, add group, add users or groups. I don't understand why these aren't installed. Are these only available if you're root? Oh, okay. That's so interesting. Because usually it would say you would still have the command, but it would say like you don't have the permissions to do that. But I guess the command's only available if you're root. Okay, that's very interesting. So do I want add user or user add? I actually don't remember. I think user add is the one that I want. No, I think I want add user, because add user is the one that's interactive and sets it up with all of the, because we're running on Debian here, and so add user is going to run kind of like all of the standard startup scripts that you would when you're creating a user. So you'll get like a bash rc, and you'll get like, I don't know, whatever other files and kind of configurations that it needs. So I'm going to go ahead and do add user, because I believe that's the one that's interactive, but we'll find out. So let's do sudo add user, and then what did I want to name it? Mail user. Mail user. Okay, new password. We're going to do no password. And the reason I'm doing no password is because I'm going to actually, okay. Just make it 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're probably like, that's a horribly insecure password, and you're right, but I have a secret. Yes. Okay, which is that I'm about to do sudo passwd-l mail user, which means that no one can actually sign in as mail user. So -l basically locks the password. It turns the password hash to like -1. So anything that gets hashed is not going to equal -1, because it's going to be like some string of bytes. So now this user is locked, and so the only people who can access the user are people who have something like machine CTL or su, in which you can log into this user from a different user that has root permissions, which is what I want, because this is just kind of like a maintenance account, and you shouldn't be able to log into this directly. That could cause some security concerns. So let's go ahead and do that actually now. Machine CTL shell mail user. So hopefully this works, because this is what I wrote. Oh, do I have to install it? Okay, let's see. There's no manual entry. What package? Because I thought this was part of systemd, but it might be like an extra thing. Oh, systemd container. Okay, yeah, so it is kind of an extra thing. Systemd container. Boop. Install that. Okay, let's just kind of get all that logs out of the way, and then sudo machine CTL mail user, and then a shell. I forgot a shell. There we go. Okay, so now we're logged in as the mail user. So I'm going to make another what is here file. This is the mail user and hosts the admin containers for the mail server as minimal permissions. Okay, perfect. And then I'm actually, I just realized I don't know if I have admin on this machine, so I'm going to go ahead and exit out of here, and I'm going to go ahead and install podman and podman compose. And I'm also wondering, how do I linger this user? Because essentially, if we're running services under this user, when the user logs out, the services are going to be stopped, and there's a way to prevent that from happening by using systemd to set that user to linger, which basically means that all of the services running under that user will linger around even if the user is not logged in. And that's really important because we want these services to be running under this user for security reasons, but obviously we don't want them to be dependent on me being logged in as the user, because then it's not going to be able to run on its own, and that's a little bit silly. So let's see if I can figure out how to do that, because I have forgotten. I probably should have looked up all of these commands. Let's just go here and Google this, because I don't think we're going to be able to find much of the man pages. Server to linger. I'm also watching the time here because I'm going to do a break at the top of the hour. So login CTL enable linger. Okay, perfect. Let's see if this AI is accurate. Enable linger mail user. Okay, there we go. That worked. So let's come here and log in with machine control, and I think that's about as much as we're gonna do. Oh, I probably want to clone the Git repository, because here's the Git repository, and this is mail podman compose. So if I do git clone https github.com/log2/mail podman oh my gosh, I can't type compose, and I think I end it in .git. This should work, because normally I use SSH to authenticate myself with GitHub, but because I don't want to put any keys or anything on here, because I don't want this to authenticate with my GitHub, I just want it to be able to pull. I think this is going to be okay. And we might have to set it up, because I was previously thinking that I would want to use GitHub Actions to build the containers, because then I have to do less work on my machines. But I think I might actually want to set it up so that the containers are built on the machine, so they can be rebuilt every day with the latest versions of Dovecot and Postfix. But I think we can also do that with Podman Compose. I think with Podman Compose you can have it build them before it runs them. So I might just go ahead and do that, because I'm already going to have a service to start and stop Podman Compose every day, and I'm going to steal that for my other machine shortly. So let's go ahead and clone this. So it worked. And okay, there's the README. Okay, there we go. Perfect. So we have all the stuff from kind of our project on this server. So now I can go ahead and actually get started on building out the containers. So let's come over here. And I probably want to do Dovecot first. I don't know if does it matter? Because let me think. So the first thing I probably want to do is receiving mail, because I want to make sure that I can like send a mail and just like look in the directory and see if it showed up, because I think that's easier to test, since I need some sort of mail in the directory to be able to like retrieve it in my mail client. So Dovecot is for retrieving it in mail clients. Postfix is for handling SMTP and actually receiving the mail and putting it in the mailer. So I think I'm going to start with Postfix. So let's just go over here to documentation, and hopefully they have a getting started, basic configuration, relay access control, secure environments. So I'm going to kind of keep tabs on this, and let's go to the basic configuration. Okay, so Postfix has several hundred configuration parameters that are controlled via the main.cf file. Okay, so it's main config, sure. Fortunately, all parameters have settable default values. We will see about that. In many cases, you need to configure only 2 or 3 parameters before you can start to play with the mail system. Okay, so there's syntax. I'm assuming this is just like kind of the standard Linux configuration-y syntax. Yeah, this is very familiar if you've like done like Nginx or anything like that. Yeah, this is very familiar syntax. Okay, yeah, so I'm not too worried about that. Text below assumes that you already have Postfix installed on the system. Oh, also, I want to mention, kind of before I really dive into this, I did actually look for Postfix and Dovecot containers on the internet, but unfortunately, a lot of them are out of date. There's also some other kind of like well-maintained mail containers, but they all have a bunch of extra stuff. Like they all have like an antivirus and like a user management system and like a web interface. And I'm just kind of, I don't really need any of that for my purposes because I'm just going to be receiving like text emails. And if there's like any weird files, I'm just going to block that user instantly. I'm not going to be messing with anything that could even potentially carry a virus to anywhere other than my mail server itself, which is running in Podman, so I can obviously just clean that up pretty easily. So I think generally, given my profile and threat model, I think it's not super important for me to have an antivirus running on my mail server because I'm just not going to be receiving any attachments. Like this is going to be strictly kind of text communications between me and other people, and it might be some like newsletter mailing lists, which I never download anything from because I don't trust newsletter mailing lists. I love them. I love my New Yorker humor section, but I don't trust the files on there, so I'm not going to be downloading anything. And hopefully this will be enough. We'll see. We'll see if it ends up getting to the point where I'm like getting some kind of like potentially dangerous spam emails and things like that that are not easy to block or circumvent. And then I might switch to one of those services. But for now, just because of the amount of processing power I have on my server and what I'm expecting to receive, and because my email is also already protected through Cloudflare, so there's kind of like multiple steps of protection from other services that are already running these kind of like antivirus, anti-spam steps. So I think I just want to keep it very, very simple in terms of what my email server has to run on it and what I have to maintain to keep up to date and keep secure. So that's why I'm not using kind of a pre-made container, and I'm only using these pre-made programs that are generally designed to run directly on your server, but I'm going to run them in Docker for the reasons I mentioned before. So anyways, let's look back at this configuration. And okay, the text is below assumes that you already have Postfix installed on the system. So let's get started with that. Let's see if we can get the latest Debian Docker container. So that's downloading Docker on Debian, which is not what I want because I'm not even using Docker. Official image on Docker Hub. And this, okay, so we probably want Bookworm. We could just do latest. They have like the slim versions. I don't think I want to do a slim version because I want to be installing all of these programs and their dependencies. So I'm a little bit worried that if I do like a slim version, it might be missing some things that they're expecting to be there, even though they haven't been explicitly declared. I can try maybe, switching to a slim version after I finish and seeing if it still works. But I think I'm just going to start without a slim version just to kind of eliminate any problems. So what are the rules for Docker files? I don't know. I don't know what the rules are for Docker files because I think they have to be named Docker file, but I want to have at least two. So I kind of don't want to name them Docker file. Let's see. Let's find out. Something .docker file. Okay, sure. So we'll do postfix .docker file. And I'm not even building these with Docker, I'm building these with Podman, so it kind of like doesn't even matter because there's like additional layers of things that I'm doing. But for now, let's just stick with Dockerfile. And okay, so we're doing Debian latest. Ugh. Oh my gosh, I need coffee. I'll get some coffee on my break. So, okay, this is from docker.io/Debian latest. So hopefully that should just work. Save. Okay. And okay. What is it just run? Yeah, it's just run. And I'll do apt install. I'm also not worried. Usually I would be a little bit worried about having like a container that I'm running as root in the container, but I'm actually not worried at all about that because in Podman, I'm going to be running these containers rootlessly already. So there's no concern of privilege escalation to root because the containers are never even accessing below user space below like this user's level, permission level. So I'm just gonna keep these as not rootless containers since I'm running them in Podman, so that kind of like privilege escalation problem of like escaping the container and now your root is doesn't really apply to me. So I think hopefully this just works. Let's just see. Let's just test this. Can we install Postfix? Because I know it's available on apt, but can we install it? So do I have Podman here? I do. Okay, perfect. I'm so happy that I installed that. Build postfix.dockerfile. Ooh. Oh, I have to start it. Command space. Podman. There we go. Oh, it's down here. Run Podman. Okay, so it's starting. And this is just from, oh, can I get this to come onto my other screen? No, it actually refuses to come to my other screen. So I would show you my Podman dashboard, but I'm just running it on Mac OS, so it's just the Podman Mac kind of desktop thing. And I believe it's made by Red Hat, so that's cool. I like them. They're pretty good. So let's do Podman build. Postfix. Okay, Podman build. Help. Okay, let's debug this. So I'm running Podman build and is file. Okay, path name. Okay, yeah. So let's do file. Oh my gosh, I cannot type today. Postfix.docfile. Okay, it is honestly exceedingly hard to like be debugging and talking at the same time. There's just like the amount of brain power. Unable to locate package postfix. Okay, so let's find, what is it called? Because I've like installed this on Debian before, so, oh. I actually don't think I need to do sudo at all for the cache search, but that's fine. Oh, there's so many programs and none of them are the one I'm looking for. Postfix. There's lots of... Oh, okay. I probably just have to do apt update, more than likely. Do apt upgrade. -y. Okay. And actually move this -y here so that I can add additional packages if I need. Okay, let's try this. So it's going to update. Okay. And is this upgrading or is this... Oh, I stopped. Postfix. Yeah, postfix. Yeah. Postfix. There we go. Okay. So there we go. We have step one complete. Let's actually come in here and do this. Move this in front. Create a postfix container and create a Debian container with postfix installed. Check. Okay, so now that we have that checked off, let's go over here and see what the next step is in the postfix basic configuration. Installed on the system. Okay. So basic postfix configuration, and I don't think oh my god, I don't know, I'm so tired. I don't think I need any of those other things. So yeah, okay. Let's go ahead and figure out what domain name to be used in outbound mail. So this is robog.net. Okay, so I think can I get the main.cf, because where is it? Is it in /postfix? Okay. So let's see. Podman exec -it post. Wait, what did I call it? Oh, did I not name it? Okay, wait. I have to actually rebuild it and tag it. Well, actually no, because here's the tag right here, right? Command C, Command E, and let's try it. Let's do bin bash, right? Oh, I wrote postfix. Okay. No such container. Okay, so I think that's maybe just that layers hash. Okay, let's just rebuild it and just tag it correctly this time. -t postfix. Oh, there we go. I just tagged the one that I already built. Okay, cool. Shout out to caching. Shout out to caching. Has saved me so much time. Postfix. Okay, wait. Do I have to do podman? Yeah. Okay. I don't know. Wait, what are the commands? So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to go into the container and I'm trying to figure out how I can like get the configuration file, because I want to get a default configuration file so then I can put it over here and actually just put it in the container. But I need a default file so that I can kind of see what it already has set up, because I know it's going to be generated inside of this container somewhere, but I just need to find it and extract that. Okay, so run a command in a new container. Okay, wait. Podman start. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for. Sorry, it has actually been a minute since I have used containers, and usually I just use them through compose. So I'm like compose up, and then I don't have to run all the individual commands because they're generated for me. So let's do start postfix. Okay. No container with name or ID postfix found. No such container. What do you mean? There's no container. I'm trying to start it. That's what I'm saying. Okay, attach. So actually, I'll do -AI, right? So then I can just attach to it immediately. Okay, do I need to create a container using create but do not start a container? Okay, so I think I need to create a container with this kind of like template, and then because we built this Docker file into like kind of like a container image, so I have to create an actual running container, not a running container, but I have to create a container using this image, and then I have to run the container, and then I have to go into the shell. Okay, let's see. So create help, create. So they say create Alpine LS. Okay, Podman create Postfix. Okay, Podman run, and then this will attach us, maybe? Okay, let's just run it. Okay. And now let's try getting a shell. No. Not run. Start. Podman start. Shoot. Podman start. This. There we go. Okay, and then now I can run inside of this container a shell. Okay. Container state improper. Okay, so mayhaps I need to actually do like an entry point. I don't know. So let's see if we can do an entry point. How do I do that? I think it's just entry point or command. Oh, they're both. No, it's entry point. Okay. Let's do just bash, right? And let's build this. Oh, actually, so I actually have this whole GUI down here, and I can just look at the I can just look at the running containers that I have, which I wish I could show you, but it physically will not let me drag it to the other desktop. So that's fine, I guess. Oh. Okay, so Podman run. So they actually have this little helpful command here, which is maybe what I'm just looking for. New my first pod. So what if we say Postfix? Okay. Okay. There we go. Okay, I did it. 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 So I just used, I don't know what the magic of this command is, but I just looked in the GUI and they were like, run your first container. And they had this command. And for whatever reason, that started it correctly, but the other commands that I ran did not. But it's okay, because now I have it. Now I have this container. So let's find Postfix. And let's get Postfix main.cf. Perfect. Okay, so here's our default configuration. And let's just plop this into... Oh, for a commented, more complete version, will do. It does not exist. Oh, user share postfix. Okay. So let's get user share postfix main.cf.dist. Okay, perfect. And then I can just copy this whole configuration. Wow. Okay, maybe we don't want to do this because I have the docs. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna do the default configuration because I already have the documentation online. pulled up. So I'm just going to do this, and I'm going to add all of the additional configuration options. So let's actually do postfix sources. Move this down. Paste this in here. Is there like an extension for .cf files? Okay. I don't think any of these are what I'm looking for. That's fine. Okay. Debian specific specified would cause the first line of that file to be used as the name. Okay, I'm just kind of reading this now. I feel like this is like honestly like a little bit boring, but you know what? That's okay, because this stream is for me to figure this out and for you to watch. And if it's boring and lame, that's okay. That's okay. You can leave. You can go somewhere else. I'm not keeping you here. So I'm just gonna read this configuration file silently to myself. Okay, so it looks like there's just some kind of like basic, like what ports is it binding to? It's got the host name of the container, which is actually really funny. Okay, I'm actually totally getting coffee on my break. I've been yawning so much, I don't know why. I think it's just because I didn't drink coffee today. Usually I drink coffee and then I don't yawn, but you know. Okay. So it seems like, yeah, it's got the host name of the container, it's got like all interfaces, and there's just like some kind of like certificate stuff, which I'm not actually going to set up on the stream, I believe. I think I'm going to wait until I go off stream to do that because I don't want to accidentally reveal any like secret keys. So yeah, because I'm just gonna use certbot for that. I've done that before. It's not too hard. And as far as the rest of it seems pretty simple. So I guess I just need to add my email and my domain, and I don't know. I guess the host name I should probably set, but actually I can only set the host name. Ooh, I can only set the host name within Podman Compose, but that's okay because it's going to be postfix. It's going to be postfix. So, because the container is going to be called postfix, and the host name is going to be postfix, and everything related to the postfix container is just going to be postfix. So, okay. Want trouble to report the postmaster. I don't really. Ugh. Okay, so I guess the postmaster is just going to be, because I don't want to have more than one email here. I just want to have one email that's just sam@robog.net. So I guess the postmaster is just me. So what destinations relay mail to? Oh, I think we actually got scrolled down here because, okay. Configuration files. Okay, so this actually does seem maybe a little bit more complicated than some other standard configurations. But I think, do I really need to use... Oh, okay, actually, yeah, so I kind of see what they're saying. They're saying, like, if your domain... Excuse me, goodness. Oh my god, I'm yawning so much. Okay, gotta wake up. So, I think basically they're saying like if you're using your domain in a lot of different places, like robot.net, you can extract that to a variable so you're not kind of like duplicating code everywhere. And then it's also like if you have to change your domain, you only change it in one place and then it changes throughout the rest of your configuration. So this kind of makes sense. This kind of makes sense. So yeah, so okay, the domain, my origin equals my domain. So I see what they're saying. They're saying because right here it's using the host name. What's the first one that found this? So I don't think I'm. Yeah, I think I just want this to be my domain. Real. Let's do mail. Mail username at my domain. So then I do mail username equals Sam. Oops. Sam. And then my domain equals robot.net. So hopefully all of the mail is coming from Sam at robot.net from this server. So that should be fine. That makes sense. Because I think another problem with this is Postfix is also kind of like, it could be used as a mail server that connects to the internet over SFTP, but I think it's also can be used as like a local mail server on this machine to kind of have communications between users that are email based. So I think that's why this is kind of like wants things to be like in files or like based on the host name, which for my case doesn't make any sense because it needs to be public, so it has to be based on the domain. So okay, first section done. Let's keep going. So you can use a parameter before it's given a value. Okay. I guess I could do that, but I don't think I really will. Oh my god, I need to stop yawning. This is like a problem. This is like a problem. This is bad. This is a professional stream. This is a professional stream. I need to stop yawning. So let's look at. So I don't want to use the variables after I define them because I don't really care. I can just do them before I run them. I can define them before I use them because I want most of my variables to be at the top of the file. I think most of the ones that are like the domain and the mail name and everything like that. So the domain that appears in mail that is posted on this machine. What does that mean? Okay, so yeah, this is also like relaying mail. I don't think I even need to worry about that. So all of these things are not true. I don't need to relay mail. I could just directly send it. So wait, I think I might just need to configure my domain and then keep everything else default. I think, I don't know if that's silly. I don't really need to worry about STH root. Because that also, I think, sometimes says don't work under Podman. They can cause problems. Specifies the parent domain of my hostname. I kind of don't understand. I feel like this is actually a really lacking documentation piece, because I have no idea what they're talking about, because there's a hostname, an origin, and a domain, and I do not really understand how they're related. Because I think it might be the origin is robog.net, the domain is like mail.robog.net, so like you can put like your DNS stuff on there, so that it like mail.robog.net like points to your mail server, but then robog.net points to your website. But they're also saying like it can just be a host name, but I don't think it can just be a host name in my case, because it's also like running inside of Docker. So I have to kind of like override that, because the host name doesn't, it's not the actual real host name of the machine that things are being sent to. And I think, I don't know, the basic configuration file seems to actually not really be basic and seems to be like very strangely specific. Specify the machine's identity and role in the network, but it doesn't really explain what that is. Okay, so let's just postfix. What is the difference in our domain, my host name, and my origin? Okay, we got a CAPTCHA. First CAPTCHA of the stream, shout out. What is the effect of my domain, my origin, and my host name in Postfix? Well, that's helpful. Okay, so wait, Postfix is actually just... Each time we try to send mail with Postfix. Okay. So postfix address rewriting. Okay. So it looks like I probably should have done a little bit more research before starting the stream, because I was hoping that this stream would kind of be like the research component, but it seems like this problem is maybe a little bit more complex than something that is easily streamable. So let's see, what is the effect of... And so I went to address rewriting. Okay, I'm losing my train of thought, because there's so many pages and I'm like talking and I'm not thinking, and it's, yeah, streaming is hard. It's been a minute. It has been a minute since I've done a live stream, and I think I totally could do this on my own, but I kind of wanted to show my thought process through doing this and also kind of have a fun way for people to see how I kind of set this up. And maybe it'll become a blog post later. But yeah, it is very hard to kind of like live debug, live research, and also be talking and not like silent. Because I like to keep a little baseline level of chattiness, and that's easy if you're like playing a game or something. But if you're doing a kind of like technical stream, it's much harder. It's much harder for sure. Okay. So address rewriting is at the heart of the Postfix mail system. Postfix rewrites addresses for many different purposes. Some are merely cosmetic, and some are necessary to deliver correctly formatted mail to the correct destination. Okay, so this introduction seems very frivolous. Username and example originates from username at hostname and username at same example.com. So, okay, the thing is, none of these matter. None of these matter because I'm not sending any mail through my local network. I'm only sending mail from the internet to me and from me to the direct uh, SMTP servers of whoever I'm sending mail to. So yeah, I don't think this is important either. I'm kind of wondering if maybe postfix is even what I need. Is this SMTP delivery? From the queue manager. Okay, sure. Okay, so it seems. Wow. This is an interesting diagram. I kind of feel like I might be a little bit in over my head here because I feel like to understand postfix, I have to understand like the history of email and the history of SMTP because I know that email used to be a lot more complicated and there used to be a lot more like relaying through different servers, whereas now it's kind of just like direct from server to server because everyone has Gmail. And it used to be like your local machine had to like connect to your ISP, who had to like find somebody else's ISP, who then had to like connect to their local computer, and it like pinged around on this like big network. Whereas now it's just like everyone has a Gmail, and then it's just like Google just has like SMTP servers that are already out on the public internet. So I think a lot more email today is just kind of direct, and which is good because that means it's easier to encrypt. And it's also harder to have a man in the middle attack with emails. But I think kind of because of Postfix's age, it's expecting a lot more kind of complicated stuff when really I'm just like, here's my mail server, it's open to the internet, go, you know? So maybe this is not what I want to use. Because I could use a pre-made mail service, but then there's the problem of the performance overhead. So I guess, maybe let's just look at one. Let's just peek at one and see how difficult it is to configure. So one that I've heard of is MailCow. Let's see. Um, Okay. Yeah. So that's fine. I'm not doing that. Mm, yep. Yeah, so the DNS setup I'm not going to worry about right now because I just want to I want to see it running at all. Um, yeah, I feel like this is kind of a similar problem. What I want is an SMTP server that finds my mails and sends them out to their proper recipients on the internet from a mailder. And I think this is like really, really complex in that it's designed to support every single piece of modern email and like be prepared for all of the like modern attachments and any kind of like viruses, and it supports IMAP and POP3, which I do not care about POP3. I'm just no client that I have needs it, and it's a simpler protocol for sure, but from my experience, POP3 just supporting it at all is really silly because a lot of modern mail clients will support IMAP, and it's way better to use IMAP if you have like two different mail clients connecting to one server, because then they can both kind of like manage the mails in a way that's synchronized across the clients, which I am doing and I need. So for me, POP3 is just not it's not suitable for my needs, and it's just a bunch of extra configuration overhead which I don't care about. So I think I think maybe 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 I need to take a break here. Maybe we need to take a break now. It's been an hour. We've been streaming for an hour. We have made teeny tiny bit of progress so far. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and take a break here. I might do a little bit more research, a little bit more thinking. I'm probably gonna make a sandwich. Probably gonna make a delicious lunch. Um, and I guess I will be back and we'll decide what mail system we're actually going to be using, and maybe I will come back and be like ready to go with all my research and everything done. But I was researching this yesterday and I decided that Postfix and Dovecot would be the best option, but now looking at Postfix and Dovecot in more detail, it seems like they're really, really, really complicated to configure. And I'm a little bit concerned that the more complexity in the configuration, the easier it is going to be for me to mess it up, because I obviously don't have experience with the entire, function of SMTP and like mail on the internet. So I'm hoping that I can find some sort of thing where it's easy to configure, but doesn't come with too much extra stuff. Because also it looks like MailCow comes with Dovecot and Postfix, but then it also comes with so many other things which I don't really need, and they're not really suitable for my purposes. Because there's like rspamd, which is I've used it before. It's kind of nice, but I find like personally in my experience, the easiest way to not have spam is to just only give certain people your email. And for me, I already have Cloudflare on my website, kind of protecting and hiding my email from anyone who isn't like a verified human user. So if you are, like scraping my website, you'll see like hidden email with Cloudflare or whatever where the email is. But if you're going through a big browser, it'll kind of check your cookies or whatever. And if it determines you're human, it'll just put the email there. So I kind of already have that protecting my email at a basic level. And I think I can just manage whatever spam gets through that and finds my server and just block it manually, just block the address and delete it from the server. So I'm not too concerned about having a spam service. I also, yeah, there's like an internet connectivity check, and none of these I really need because I already have a connectivity check. It's called my mail client, and like seeing if I'm getting new emails or not. Um, so I'm not really too keen on all of these additional management pieces that come with MailCow, but I am kind of wondering, could I peek at the Milkhouse sources and just steal their postfix configuration and their Dovecot configuration? Because that's really what I want, I think. I think I just want to look at their configuration files and see kind of how they're setting things up and how they're using them so that I can put all of my stuff in my Maildir like I want and have it just be simple and, you know, secure as far as the actual protocols and servers go. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and switch to the music. We're just playing some Creative Commons music, which you can find at the little link up there, because obviously it's Creative Commons, so I have to link them. And I'm gonna go ahead and take a break. So I will be right back.
感がこう
Okay, y'all, I'm back. I had my lunch. It was delicious. If you're wondering, I had a bagel, everything bagel sandwich with garlic hummus and fresh basil from the garden and deli chicken and some I think it was like sharp cheddar, sharp white cheddar cheese. I don't know, I don't remember. But on an everything bagel. It was delicious. Wonderful sandwich. And then I had a chobani mixed berry and a plum for dessert. It was delicious. And then I also had some delicious peach sweet tea. So hopefully I should not be yawning as much in this segment of the stream. And while I was away, I discovered in my research, here's my research. This is this article from DigitalOcean that there is actually a secret screen that we did not see because of the way that we set up Postfix that would have solved all of our problems. And it comes with a default configuration for different use cases. So what we're using it for is quote unquote internet site, where it says mail is sent and received directly using SMTP, and that's the configuration that we want. But we got the default configuration of no configuration, which is very helpful because it doesn't have any settings at all whatsoever, except for like the very bare minimum to like turn on. So I'm gonna go ahead and go back to the Docker container, and we're gonna see if this will even work, because it looks like it's some kind of like curses like TUI. So I think it might not work with Docker or Podman, but we will see. We will see. So it's saying that I should come in here and write dpackage reconfigure postfix. Okay, so let's put this up here. See if this works. Here we go. There it is. There it is. Wow. Okay, so let me make this camera small. Wait, how do I do that? Wait, is it this one? Oops. Okay, there we go. Sorry, I messed the camera up. I have these buttons here, and they're very small, and I think I need to make my window bigger so I can actually see them. They're set up to some hotkey on my keyboard, but I forgot what I set them to, so I don't know. I don't know how to do the cameras fancy. Anyways, let's get back to this configuration. So I'm going to type 2 for internet site. System mail name. Okay, so robog.net. There we go. Recipient. Okay, so this is just going to be Sam, right? Sam at robog.net. So I'm going to say mail.robog.net and robog.net. Because I think in our DNS configuration in a minute, I think we're going to have to set it up so that mail sent to robog.net is actually secretly sent to mail.robog.net. And I don't know which domain this is going to use, but either way, it should process and receive that mail. So that's what I'm going to do. Similar updates are forced, and mail is processed more slowly. Not forced, there's so much. Okay, I'm going to say no because I am using a journal file system. So. Yeah, I'm just going to say no because the file system is journaled, and I'm worried because this is on such a low resource machine because it's running on like a 4 gigabyte of memory server. It's actually a Dell Optiplex 5050. It's not even like a server. It's like a library computer. So I'm planning on upgrading them in the future, and that's why I actually chose Dell Optiplex 5050s, because you can upgrade them so easily. They have so many upgrade slots. There's so many RAM slots, so many. There's like a slot for a graphics card, which is like, why does like the industry standard library computer need a graphics card slot? But it has one. So hopefully I'm gonna update them in the future. But I'm gonna put no here just because the resources are so low. So I want to make sure that I'm doing everything to like make the mail process quickly, and I am using a journal file system. So I'm a little bit concerned that maybe with Docker it might affect that the way that this like program interacts with the file system, because I don't know. I think it's the same though, because it's using the host's kernel and the files are stored on the host. So I'm assuming it's the host's file system is used in the same way, but I don't know. I don't know. But I'm gonna go with no here because I think it's gonna be okay. Okay. If this host is a smart host for block machines, you use specify netblocks are rejected rather than relayed. Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna keep this blank because we don't need to relay mail. Maybe between IPv4 and IPv6, because I think I'm gonna set this up to just IPv6 if I can. But I'm also a little bit worried about the compatibility issues that might cause. So I'm gonna just keep that blank because hopefully that'll figure that out. Okay, so I think that's 512. So let's see. Here is kilobytes, here is megabytes. Yeah, I think that's 512 megabytes. Actually, I think that's half a megabyte because I think it would be one more zero. Can I see? If you do not, okay, I'm not going to use address extensions because I don't know what that is, and I don't think I need that because I just have one address here. So I think that's like if you had maybe like multiple people at your company and their mail's processed by like different servers, but I don't have that, and I'm not going to have that, at least not on this mail server. And if I do, I'm going to forward this mail to another server because this mail server is just going to be simple. So I'm just going to do okay, so etc. mail name, etc. aliases. So I'm going to add those files here in our compose. Etc. mail name, etc. aliases. And I think for aliases, I might have to do that. There might be some additional configuring that I have to do there. Because I think I might have to configure that with a script instead of Debian so that it actually updates everything instead of just adding this file. But we're just going to try adding this file and see if it works. Because I think also Postfix isn't really relying on the other things. I think it's just reading this file plainly. So hopefully this just works. Okay. Guess I'll just keep that comment just in case. Perfect. And then mail name, bug.net. Perfect. And then So let's try this. Let's actually, I think we can just do this. I think we just do this. There we go. There we go. Look at how much easier that was. I didn't have to read the whole documentation. It just asked me the questions for the type of configuration that I needed. That was great. It's almost like that's how it works if you install it normally and not through Docker, completely uninformed, as I did. So I do feel like the last hour of the stream was a waste, but I did have a wonderful sandwich. And oh my god. I did have a wonderful sandwich, and I did have a fun time. So I think honestly we can actually just go to like sending email. So actually, let me open my mail client. I'm gonna put the be right back screen up for just a moment because I'm gonna open my mail client and just move it onto the other window so y'all don't see my emails because some of them are like passwords and stuff, or not passwords but like codes. You know what I mean? Yes, as I suspected, my email client opened on the main screen right into a bunch of account information. So glad that I hid that and did it the way that I did it because it did exactly what I thought it would do. macOS is really strange because I have set this, like, I have my secondary display that's like down here. This is my big screen where you guys can see it has all the stuff that y'all are looking at right now, and then down here it has like the stream window and the chat and now my emails, and I have this down here set as my main display so that when I open up stuff it goes here and then I can just drag it onto the big display, but it doesn't work for like half of the apps on here. So I don't know what's up with that, but I'm also using the like beta version of the new macOS that has like the glass stuff, and that has broken literally everything. So that could totally be part of it also. Okay, sure. I'm gonna draft a new email, and let's do sam@.net. Subject, email, test. Hi, exclamation point, default signature. Okay, so I'm not gonna send that yet because I just want to have that loaded up. And then let's go to my Cloudflare and configure the DNS. Here's GoDaddy.com. Okay, so they're explaining DNS. Okay. Okay, so this is actually a really unhelpful article. Here we go. Cloudflare, thank you. Send and receive mail. Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna flip the screen up real quick. I'm gonna sign into Cloudflare and then I'm gonna come back. Okay, cool. So we're back. First of all, to kind of clear some things up as to like all of the information on the screen, because there is definitely a lot of information on the screen that you totally could use, but actually all of these IP addresses are already public. So I understand that this, is leaking some of my IP addresses, but secretly most of these IP addresses are not to my machines, and the ones that are very secure behind multiple firewalls. So these are actually just servers to mostly Dino. So please don't slam Dino servers for my sake. And also up here is my email. So just don't spam my email. That's my spam email. It already has spam all the time. You can spam it if you want. Send me some fun spam. That's okay. That's fine. But honestly, I feel like Cloudflare really could use a streamer mode, because I feel like I'm definitely not the first person who has like used Cloudflare during a stream to like configure stuff. So yeah, but just be nice, be respectful, yeah. I should probably delete that acne challenge, but it doesn't matter anymore because that is for my URL shortener, which is already gone. So, well, yeah, I don't think it matters. I think it's fine. I think it's fine because you also can't see all of it anyways. So, please don't mess with my certificates. I'll be sad. I'll give you one frowny face. Anyways, let's set this up to send and receive mail. So, SMTP provider. Okay, we're gonna work on that in a minute. Vendor specific guidelines. Okay. Okay, so these are just if you're using a pre-existing service. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, so okay. They say or a quadruple A record, which is what I'm gonna do because we want this to point to Mega 2, which is this IPv6. So this on mail.robug.net points to here. And did they say proxy it? I think I need to not proxy it. Proxied false, yeah. Yep. Yeah, so, it turns out that at the end of the day, those IPs would have been leaked anyways, just by looking at my mail server. So it's fine. I'm not too concerned about IP leakage because honestly, in today's day and age, it's not a huge deal at all, especially IPv6, because they're just like so specific, and we have good firewalls. Like I have a professional firewall hardware in front of this server, and then also this server itself is like on an isolated network from everything else. So it's really not that big of a deal, because like the worst you can do is like spam my mail server, which you already could do. So just don't do that, please. Be respectful. But at the end of the day, I'm not too concerned about these IP addresses, being released on the internet. So, okay, let's work with the MX record. Okay. At mail server. Okay, so yeah, this is just your root points to your mail server, which makes sense. So my root domain points to mail.robog.net, handles mail for robog.net. Okay, yeah, that makes sense, right? That makes sense. Oh, priority, what did they say? Priority 10. Sure. I can also change that later if that becomes a problem, so I'm not too worried. So that's going there. Front domain spoofing. DNS marketing, others sending emails on behalf of your domain. Okay, so this I'm gonna do because I know a lot of these are have like kind of encryption related to them. I'm actually gonna set these up off stream because I think it's gonna be okay with just the MX record, because I'm not even gonna be probably. I mean, should I set up certificates in the stream? I should, but it's gonna be a lot of just like, okay, I'm hiding my screen now. Here's my private key, you know? So I don't know. I don't know. I think it'll be okay. I'm just gonna try and send an email. Just like how it is right now. We'll see if we need encryption. I think we might to just send an email. Because if I send an email from the server to me, it's probably gonna go to my spam without these records. But if I send an email from me to the server, which is what I really just want to test to make sure it's connectable at all in general, I think it's still going to work. So let's get that set up. We have this. We have this. Okay. So let's. Where does the postfix? Where does it put the emails? Still certs. Okay. Yeah, so these, okay, I'm gonna have to add, I don't know why they call them snake oil. There's probably some history to that. Pretty sure certificates are a working and well-established product. I don't think they're snake oil. But snakeoil.key, okay. And then I'm gonna just close the thing and generate those in a minute with certbot. And I'm probably just gonna run certbot on my Mac and use like the DNS verification. So then I can just produce this Docker container and have it just be valid for like 15 years and it'll be fine. And I won't have to worry about it until 15 years from now when I have to worry about it. And all my mail breaks and I'm like, oh my God, what's happening? But I think it's gonna be okay. I think it's gonna be okay. So where, where is the mail stored? I don't know where the mail is stored because I know that it uses a maildir, and I think it actually might just be like /run/maildir/sam. That's my theory. That's my theory. So, okay. I think I'm still yawning. I'm still yawning. I think this is good. I think this is good for now. I'm gonna build this on the server. Well, first I'm gonna add these to the get ignore before I forget, because that's important. Excuse you. Get ignore. Key. Postfix street sources, and I have to make sure not to reveal these certificates and like not click on them on accident. Because these actually are important, because you could man in the middle all of my emails, which would not be fun. Unlike man in the middling my URL shortener, which is kind of like not a huge deal, because all of the things that it shortens URLs to are the things that actually need to be secure, and it can just be like whatever. Because I mean, could you redirect people to a bad website? Actually, no, I don't think you could. even with the man in the middle, I think it would still be difficult. But anyways, you could break my website, but you could not cause problems for people. So I'm not too worried about it. I don't know why I said that in a weird accent. Sorry. And this ignores those, and then I can just commit all of this. And I can say setup basic postfix configuration for direct to internet SMTP. Okay. Commit, sync, perfect, and then here, oh, I have to machine CTL. Yes. See mail, finding compose, pull, get fuel. Not what I meant. And then, you know, let's just set up a basic compose file actually. Reveal some trade secrets here. Machine CTL shell LM user. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Okay, and then let me just get this file because this is just the last Onion Compose file that I wrote, so I'm just gonna copy it and use it as a template. Paste, and we just need, I'm just gonna use the one for, oh, so this is interesting. I don't know how we build the container before we run it, because in this instance we have to build the container. Build container for running. I'll just put it in Docker Compose because they're compatible with the syntax. So please don't be paywalled. Okay. So you just do build. Do they actually? I don't think they even need a VLAN because I don't think they're communicating with each other over the network. I think they're just going to communicate by sharing a mail dir. Okay. And so let's bind. Oh, shoot. Oops. Let's bind the mail dir volume. I don't know if. I think you can just bind two containers to one volume. I don't think that causes problems, but if it does, we'll figure that out later. No. Okay, so the volume name and then the directory. So mail dir volume. Dir volume. And then this should be run mail dir Sam. I don't know why I reformatted that. So this needs to go away because I'm not pulling it from GitHub. I'm building it, and it is going to be postfix. Is there? Can I set the name in the Docker file? I'm also just gonna rename -2. Oh, I can't rename that because then that's going to mess up the... That's okay. Yeah, I'm just going to keep it. Let's fix resources. So, okay, that should build the container, tag it with Postfix, run the container. Oh. Is there anything else that I'm forgetting to rename? We don't need these environment variables anymore. Networks, still got volume, still got restart and list stop. We'll keep that. And hopefully, this will just work. Let's see. Let's see if we can actually run this. So log out of here. Okay, and then pull. And then hopefully I'll just be able to do Oddman compose up. Everybody cross your fingers. Everybody cross your fingers. Okay, it's building it, so that's good. We did that correctly. Oh my gosh, you know what we didn't add? We did not add the files. We have to add the files. Oh my goodness. Okay. Is it copy? Copy? Yeah, it's copy. Okay, so ets aliases to ets aliases copy ets mail name ets mail name and copy oops cf ets postfix. So also, so okay, so we can just run postfix start. It's interesting that the Debian Docker container doesn't come with systemd. That's interesting. I wonder what the reason is for that, because most of the packages I know use systemd to manage their, services that start and stop with the system. But Postfix just has its own system, probably using like init.d, old Linux init system. So, okay. Yep. Oh, certificates, which go here. Let's copy this. So I'm like kind of like, there's no way it's this easy, right? Like, let's get my files back. So I'm gonna see. I'll probably stay on the camera while I like figure out how to install certbot on my computer. Because I don't think I've ever installed it on a Mac. I know you can. At least I think you can. Upload with Homebrew. Can you actually? I don't know. Because I could run it in Docker too. But it's like you can use it without having to connect to the internet. You can use certbot. I don't know. You may not know this, but certbot is from Let's Encrypt, which basically is just this company. I think actually they're like secretly run by like DigiCert or whatever, but basically, long story short, they provide free internet certificates, and the whole concept is that their plan is to basically make HTTPS a little bit easier for individuals running websites so that we can have more secure websites on the internet, which I think is a great goal. And one of the things that they offer is certbot, which basically runs on your server, and it sets up its own like web server where if your server is exposed to the internet, the certificate kind of like authorities servers, certificate authorities servers will connect to your server, and it will say like, hi, I'm this server, it's real, like, you know, it'll like verify like the authenticity that your server is actually present at that domain. And once that is verified, they'll generate a certificate and send you the private key to the certificate, and then you can encrypt all the traffic from your server. But sometimes your server's not reachable, or in my case, sometimes your server's a mail server, so I'm not going to be opening HTTP ports because that's silly on a mail server. And you can actually use the domain to verify that you own the domain and you're the person who owns the domain. So you just put, like, you actually saw it earlier, there was like an Acme challenge that was for Dino, who also uses Let's Encrypt to provide their service. And you can just put that little like challenge secret code on your domain, and then they'll say, okay, so you own the domain, you can have a certificate for just this domain. And you can get a certificate without having an open HTTP port and from any device, not even just the server. So hopefully they have a client, they have a Certbot client that supports macOS, and I'll be able to run it from macOS, generate my certificates, put it into this Postfix resources file. Well, actually, oh, I don't need to put it in this Postfix resources file. I need to put it on the server. So actually I can just run Certbot on the server. That's what I really want to do. Yeah, I just want to run Certbot on the server and generate those certificates. Okay, perfect. So I can just do that. I can just do that. Because I can just delete these. Okay. Copy. Let's see, let's just get this name, this file name. So I need the certificates in PEM format. And yeah, okay, so that'll make it a lot easier if I'm running Certbot on the server. Copy files and start server within container. That was kind of a bad commit message, but it's okay. We're just trying to get this started. I'm still also committing directly to main. I'll probably split this out into, I like to do like a main branch and a dev branch and just submit PRs on GitHub from dev to main. Because usually, even if you don't have anybody reviewing your PRs, it's very nice to just kind of like have that system of like, you know, before you merge anything, like there's some sort of review, even if it's just me going to like github.com and like clicking merge. Because I can't tell you the number of times that I have like screwed something up really bad by like merging with Git directly from my Git client, and there's like kind of no confirms. So usually what I do is I just make it so that no one can write to the main branch, and then everybody can write to the dev branch, and you just commit on the dev branch and do a PR to merge to the main branch. And I find that workflow is really nice. And I also use it often to like for my blog, because my blog is just hosted on GitHub. So everything that I do in the blog is actually just like me editing a markdown file. And what I'll usually do is I'll like proofread it using the like GitHub PR review service, which is like really fun. So I'll go in and I'll like be like added comma, you know, in my review commits. And that's honestly super convenient. It's super convenient. Especially for something like that where it's like, really, I just need to like write it and then like force myself to look back at like every sentence change, every paragraph change. And it's really useful. It's really useful. So I'm probably going to do that later, but for now, it's okay to just commit to the main branch because we don't even have anything that's working or in production at all whatsoever. We're just kind of, you know, getting it started, getting it online, getting it tested. So let's pull again, and then let's install Certbot. Certbot. Perfect. Okay. So let's see if I remember how to do certbot. Oh, bar log list. Oh, okay. So I could actually make it copy the certificates from the system. Well, no, because I think it's gonna put them with like weird permissions. Because I just want them with permissions for only the mail user. No one else should be able to access their certificates. Um, and honestly, maybe even hmm, someday, someday I am gonna figure out a better way to do like secret storage. Because there are ways to do it. There are ways to do secret storage with Podman Compose. Um, but I think for now I'm just gonna leave it with the standard Linux permissions, standard Linux permissions, and only in the container that handles mail. Because that should be good enough for now. That should be good enough for now. And if I like have some kind of problems with that, or I'm like worried about the security of that, I can kind of upgrade that to actual secret management at a later date. But I'm always looking through the logs of this server, and I'm using this email, on a pretty much daily basis. So I think I will be pretty aware if there's any sort of problems with that, because I'll start like seeing errors and issues with the like TLS. Excuse me, the TLS connections. Hummus burp. Okay, so configure. Let's just configure cbot cd cbot configure config configure work configure logs. Okay. Logs. Logs. Okay, so now it should just do it. However, so certbot cert only. Right. Yes, that's what I want. That's what I want. Cert only. Okay. Set up a temporary. Let's see what the other options are, because I know there's a way to do it with DNS. Let's do manual. Certbot cert only manual. I think that's what it is. Okay, so email address. Probably not. I'll just do. Because can I. No, it has to be a real email address because it's coming from the certificate authority. So I can't just make it like a host name on the server. Okay, so I'm just going to make it my spam email. Because y'all have already seen that, so it doesn't really matter. Terms of service. Sure. Sure. I hope they're not too bad. They already have my email address. I love the EFF, but I do not want any more emails from them than I already get. Please enter the domain names you'd like your certificate for. Okay. Mail.robog. Okay, so there's my Acme challenge. So I'm gonna do this whole process that I just did again, without this, and I'm gonna clear my screen, and then I'm gonna have the certs, and then we'll test the mail, and hopefully it works. We will see. We will see. So I'm gonna go set up these certificates. I'll probably be 5-ish minutes, and oh wow, I've been streaming for quite some time. I've been streaming for 2 hours and 15 minutes if you don't count the break. 2 hours if you do count the break. It wasn't that long. So I'm going to go set up this certificate and I will be back. So I'm back. I have the certificates are set up. So they're in here, they're in certs. And we only need private key and full chain. So I'm going to go ahead, copy those over to the other user, and then I'm going to ch own them. And then hopefully we will be able to build the Docker container and it's just gonna work, maybe? I'm like, there's no way that this just works, but based on the configuration that I've done, I think this is the last step that we need to receive mail. Sending mail, we need to do SPF, DKIM, all of those records, because even though I think technically it could still send mail, we need to make sure that mail servers will actually receive it without putting it into spam. Oh, and we also need to open the ports, but that's not too hard. I just need to find out what ports they are. So let's copy certs full chain to our home mail user. Oops. Okay, well, full chain? Search full chain? Is that not? No, that's it. Yeah, that's it. No such file or directory. Oh, do I not have access? Okay. Why is this not working? Oh. Okay, so I did delete the certbot thing, and it looks like it just made symlinks. Wow, this is not. This is a little bit. This is a little bit silly. Okay, so it told me that it put the certificates here, but these are symlinks to with a local path also, which is absurd, to a different file where the file actually is. So actually, I totally lied. And you know what? Okay, I think I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna finish setting this piece up with the certificates. I think I might go ahead and end the stream here because I feel like this is kind of like very quickly falling apart. And I don't think it's super interesting. So as much as I would love to have like a big reveal where it's like I send the email and we like see it pop in, I think I might not have that for several more hours. And it is right now prime midday walk time. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream here. I'm gonna go ahead and clock out. And yeah, I think I'm gonna come back tomorrow. I'll have a little bit more certificate set up. I'm gonna have the port set up. Hopefully I'll have SPF and DKIM set up. We will see if I get that far. But I'm hopefully gonna have all the other stuff set up, and then tomorrow we can focus on setting up Dovecot, which should hopefully be easier when we actually have emails coming in and out. But let's see. Let's see. We'll see where I'm at tomorrow. It has been a wonderful stream today. It's been so nice having you here. I really enjoyed going through this whole process, and it's definitely been a challenge. It has been a challenge to figure stuff out and talk at the same time, especially because I am not really a professional streamer. I'm just like some person who is doing this for fun. And yeah, I think I've learned a lot today about what I need to do, what I need to set up beforehand, coming into these kind of technical streams to do a whole project throughout the stream without, losing so much time to figuring stuff out and dead ends and setting stuff up. But maybe that's part of the fun. Maybe part of the fun is watching me debug stuff and screaming at your screen, saying like, no, you forgot to depackage configure. Like, do it. You got to depackage configure. It's not going to work if you just do it in the Docker container with -y. Hopefully somebody would scream that on the screen. I don't think anyone's really watching this at all, which is maybe good because I did reveal my spam email like 3 times. So please don't send any spam emails to my iCloud, please. I beg of you. I beg of you. Be kind. Be kind. But yeah, it's been a wonderful stream today. I had so much fun. It was a struggle, but hopefully I will come back tomorrow or sometime soon and kind of finish up this whole project with the email. And I will see you all later. Stay kind, spread love, and bye.